Let's go back to the second one, the so-called CARES Act. But if you own a business and happen to have had a criminal record, the CARES Act may not care about you. Let's break it down with Young Voices senior contributor Molly Davis, who's up late with me in the Final Five. Good to see you again, Molly.
Hi, great to be back.
So let's, first of all, so we had the CARES Act, which there were so many different components. There were the stimulus checks, but this was also the bill that brought out the Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP, which was aimed towards helping businesses keep things steady on their payroll, keep paying their employees. Is that what we're talking about here, or is there another aspect of the CARES Act we're missing out on?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. The Small Business Administration is in charge of allocating those funds across the country, and they created an independent ruling to exclude people who have criminal records or have been on probation and parole in the past 5 years from receiving any of that funding. So not only is this hurting small business owners, but also their employees and the local communities which they operate in. This
was curious because you have to give the Trump administration credit for their moves on criminal justice reform. This was a pretty big step. We had the First Step Act, which feels like it was forever ago, but it was mainly aimed at leveling the playing field and helping people out who have made missteps in their life. They did the crime, they did the time. But when you talk about that, even if you did the crime and you did the time, based on what you're saying here, you're out of luck.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really, really unfortunate. I mean, the Trump administration has done a lot for criminal justice reform, but this ruling is coming just from one independent agency who is really just creating another barrier to success for people with criminal backgrounds. I mean, upon exiting the criminal justice system, you already are facing so many barriers in your path, such as when you apply for a student loan or a mortgage or just employment in general, you are not going to have as good of a chance as the next guy who doesn't have a criminal record. And now we have all these individuals who have gone out, made a better lives for themselves, become entrepreneurs, open their own business, and the government comes in during this coronavirus epidemic, force them to shut down, and then says, well, you're out of luck. We're not helping you because of your record. And that's what's happening here. It's unfortunate.
And we're not talking about major crimes here, correct? We're talking about just the fact that you may have done a misstep. You may have, I don't know, a misdemeanor a couple of years ago, something that you shouldn't have done. You got caught. But I think the one thing we don't understand, Molly, the one thing I don't think a lot of people understand is a lot of people, you may not know it, your neighbors, your friends, you may have family members who fall into that category where they do have a criminal record. I think it's a lot more prevalent than sometimes we either know or we care to admit.
Yeah, we have about 1 in 3 American adults who have criminal records on their background. And yeah, it could be your neighbor. You have no idea. And if we have 2 businesses that are operating, equally contributing to their local economies, and one of the owners has a criminal record, I mean, this $2.2 trillion stimulus package, it's all about helping the economy, keeping businesses afloat. So the government is coming in and picking winners and losers based on past run-ins with the law, and it's unfair.
Molly, if there's a small business owner who may be watching this or maybe falls into the category of having difficulty, because we know a lot of people have had difficulty getting their loans through the PPP program, but they're looking at this and they're saying, look, I played by the rules. I did everything I was supposed to do. I never got in trouble with the law. Why should somebody else have that same opportunity if they didn't follow the law themselves? I mean, there's sort of a line that I think a lot of people tend to draw when it comes to separating them from others.
I can see why you would think that, but at the end of the day, they're contributing to the economy with their business just as much as the next guy, and they've already done their time. They've already, completed their sentence and have exited and are just trying to live a successful, good life now, and we shouldn't get in the way of helping them do that.
Molly, I'm just about out of time. Is there any push to change this? Is there any official push, or is it just at this point a grassroots effort?
It's mostly a grassroots effort. There have been some congressmen who have been made aware, but right now it's in the hands of the Small Business Administration. So they have the power to make that ruling, and I encourage them to do so.
Molly Davis, it is good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime. Final Five.